What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Magic Hour. I'm your host, MagicLeb, aka MagicLeb. You all should know that by now. For those who are watching, please subscribe to my my Instagram at Fame Film Agency, and on my YouTube at MagicLeb. Today we have a very I've been waiting for him to come on my show for a very long time. Please welcome Mr. Wee Stu.
Hi.
How's it going, Wee?
Not too bad. How are you?
Is it Wee or is it Stu or is it a combination of both?
It's Wee Stu, all one word.
Like Wee is slang in Scottish for something that is short or small, right?
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be a wee bit late.
So basically, a wee bit late.
Yeah.
I'll have a wee drink.
Okay.
So I mean, basically, when I do comedy, I'm Wee Stu.
Yeah.
Occasionally, when I've done some serious acting, I'm Stuart Campbell.
Okay.
And when my partner is angry with me, I'm Stuart Gordon Hamilton Campbell.
Okay, they say all four names.
All four names.
Yeah. That's when you know when you are in trouble.
Yeah.
I have the same thing with my son. My son's name is Theodore, but we call him Theo. But when he's in trouble, I say his full name. When I say Theodore, he knows he's in trouble.
If ever my mother used to say Stuart Gordon Hamilton Campbell, I knew.
Oh, you are fucked.
I was absolutely fucked.
You are fucked. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, but no.
I've always loved the Scottish accent, and it's not because of Braveheart. I had a Scottish friend. His name was, what was his name? Something Anderson. I remember his second name. Anderson was
Probably
his second
Jimmy.
name. I don't remember his first name.
We're all called Jimmy when we're not called Stu.
But is it Scottish when they say aye? Aye, that's Scottish, right? Yeah. So whenever I asked him something and he would say yes, he would always answer aye. And I always found that's so cool, you know. Because as a 7-8-year-old, you never heard that kind of language before, that kind of talk, and it was just so refreshing. You know, there was something so new about it, so peculiar that made me. It piqued my curiosity to find out more, and I knew more about the guy when it was freezing outside, like 13-degree weather. He's going to school with shorts on. And like, dude, this is summer to us. How the hell is this summer to you guys?
I bought a jacket once. I'd worn it once in Australia. It's when I was working in the Australian Public Service, and they used to send me to Canberra quite often. And normally I just wear short sleeve. But this, I got up one morning and it was -4 degrees. So that day I bought a jacket.
Yeah.
I wore it the following day. Nice thick jacket from Rivers, but I've never worn it since. And we're about to send it off to the op shop.
Oh, God.
If it's above 10 degrees, then it's t-shirt and shorts weather as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, okay. Well, the thing is, it looks like we're going to have another cold summer. Last summer was horrible. It wasn't nowhere near as hot as it's supposed to be. And this weather is going to make sure it looks like we're not going to have a good summer after all. But for you guys, this is summer all around.
Yeah, I've never quite acclimatized.
My
partner's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
She freezes and she's got layers on at home, and I'm almost in the scud.
So would you find like today's weather a bit sunny? Would you find that like a warm day for you?
It's pleasant.
It's pleasant.
It's not bad.
Okay. But you felt the Australian heat, right? You felt the 40-degree heat and plus.
I survived with those two. I'm not too bad with heat. It's humidity.
Yeah.
Going up to Darwin or to Queensland. I hate that, and I spent a lot of time before I came to Australia in Manchester in the UK, and that's an industrial area in a valley. The smog holds things together, and it would be 14 degrees but humid, and I'd be sweating and hating it. So heat doesn't bother me too much. Humidity, I cannot cope with humidity. So I'm glad we live in Adelaide with a nice Mediterranean.
Living in Bahrain for 16 years, plenty of humidity there. Plenty. Like the second you walk outside, you're drenched.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, enough with the weather. All right, let's get down to the brass taxes here, Stu. Now, when did you start getting into comedy?
2018, 2019.
Okay, so it's pretty recent.
I was working. Somehow I found myself in a job in IT in the Commonwealth government, and they decided one day that they were going to rationalise their IT and merge our IT department with that of Centrelink's.
Okay.
And that affected I think, something like 270 jobs in Australia.
Oh, God.
269 of those jobs were already located in Canberra and co-located in the one office. I was the one who wasn't. So they gave me a choice of pack my bags and move to Canberra or take a package. So at 58, I took a package. Wasn't going to work again because I've got a family history. Come from a family of 6,
Wow.
and not one of them has made it beyond their 66th birthday.
Oh, God.
I'm 65 now, so watch it.
No. Knock on wood. You start past 66.
Hopefully you've got a defibrillator somewhere close by. But so I decided I wasn't going to go back to work. I spent some time watching movies at the Mercury, which is a kind of art house cinema. Mm-hmm. They did movies for old folks. But at one point, a guy called Eddie Bannon, who works on the radio here in Irish guy does stand-up comedy. He advertised a course on stand-up comedy for seniors, and I thought, shit, why not? I'll give that a go. And so I did his course, and then I think I'm the only one out of that course who decided to give it a go. And I did. I spent a lot of time. A lot of the locals in Adelaide remembered me as a stalker because I must have spent about 4 months going to every comedy gig in Adelaide just to catch up what they were doing and how they were working. And then eventually I did a gig at the open mic at Rhino, and I've never looked forward since.
Okay, so how was your first experience when you did stand-up? What was that like?
It was pretty good. I'd built myself up to doing it for quite some time. I had friends and family around, as you do. And I'm not terribly shy. I'm not frightened of public speaking. In a past career, I'd been an academic, so I'd given lectures in front of hundreds of students, so that wasn't a problem. And the set went okay. I think there's still a video of it hanging around somewhere. I remember the highlight of it was I pretended to be a baby giraffe being born.
Okay.
Which was slightly odd, so there was a bit of physical.
All right. So you kind of distracted the audience with something different.
Yeah. Some very sort of kind of. Well, it actually went pretty well, and I got the bug at that point, I suppose. So it's
like, how did you personally feel when you got up on stage and then the set was over and you did reasonably well, people applauded? How did that make you? Like, did you feel like some sense of euphoria that you just felt happy or relief? Yeah, relief.
Glad that I hadn't made a complete and utter arse of myself. And it felt good. Some degree of exhilaration. There's a certain degree of high in dopamine that hits you when you've got a room that gives back to you. That really does. It's one of the better feelings.
Have you only just done open mic, or have you ever been part of an ensemble show?
I've been part of ensemble shows previously. I've done a couple of openings. Opened for the Borderers, a kind of Celtic rock duo in Adelaide. Opened for them at the top of the Arc about One Fringe. That was pretty good. And I've been parts of other ensemble shows. Never headlined.
No, that's fine. You know, I mean, eventually we'll all get to that point in our journey to comedy.
Myself, never headlined. I've headlined, but I've never headlined at the Fringe, for example.
Are you still going to be doing that Stunted Growth thing at the Fringe?
Yep. It's taken on a slightly new life. Wee Stu's Stunted Growth,
yes.
That's the one-man show I'm going to be doing. It's morphed a little bit away from just straightforward boom boom stand-up comedy into something that's a little bit more theatrical.
Yeah, you got like a whole. I like to treat my stand-up more like a one-man show.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as a one-man show in stand-up form. So is that what you guys got going on? Like how what's the duration of your show?
duration's going to be 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's been listed in the Fringe Guide under theatre, not under comedy.
Not under comedy, okay.
And it's basically, it explores, it's called Wee Stu Stunted Growth, a tragicomic triptych in 3 gear changes, which posh way of saying it's actually 3 separate storylines, which involves me changing costume.
Okay,
3 times during the course of it.
So we get to see. So we get to see you with 3 different characters.
Yep.
Not simultaneously, I don't think.
No,
And you got some amazing special effects.
It's interesting because they are 3 different characters, but they're also 3 different representations of me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
okay,
I mean, it's
like your alter ego kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's me now as an old bloke trying to stay fit, riding a bike.
Don't give too much
things.
away. Don't give too much away.
So there's me as an old bloke. There's me as a kid.
Yeah.
And there's a sort of version of future me.
Okay.
So it's kind of different representations of me and my existential crises, I suppose.
Now, you don't. Without giving away what it is that you're going to be doing, does your storyline evolve you in Scotland or here or both there and here?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay, so it's like your journey from there to here and what you've done here.
Not chronological, but yeah.
Yeah, but but that's basically it. Without, we don't want any spoilers here, so we want people to actually come and see the show. And the Fringe is in what, in February or March? March.
I've got the last 5 days of the Fringe, which I think is the 18th to the 22nd of March.
Oh, if you guys heard that, well, now you know the details. I hope you go to see the show.
Goodwood Theatre and Studios. Maximum price ticket is $25.
All right.
Basically, it's 3 short shows for the price of 2 small drinks at the Gardens or Gluttony. Be there.
There you go. You can't get better promotion than that for now. Well, now we have to. I'll be putting the whole information on the screen so that people can know.
And spoiler, you won't leave empty-handed.
Would this be your very first time doing a show at the Fringe?
First time doing a solo show.
Solo show. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I've performed at the Fringe every year since I started. Like I say, sometimes in ensemble shows, sometimes I've done some comedy roasts last year.
Comedy roasts are good, yeah.
With Rob Newman. That was good. That was the International Comedy Roast.
I think Adelaide needs more roasts. I say that because there are just certain people you want to call out. All right, and you can't say nothing without them complaining about it, being offended about it. I mean, you can't get offended if you're not willing to throw the blows.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like Mike Tyson said this best. He said something. He said about social media people that comment. These people just need a punch in the face, and they'll stop. They'll shut up. They will shut up. And there are certain people. I'm not going to name names, but there are certain people that I'd like to call out and just challenge them to a roast battle. And I think this needs to happen more and more especially here in Adelaide. We need that vicarious thrill.
You'll have to run a room. You have to run a room and do it.
I wouldn't mind. When I was living in Bahrain, and how I got into comedy there, I started emceeing every other week.
Yep.
And I didn't want to continue to do the same thing each time, even though I had different material each time. I didn't want to follow the same format. So I introduced the idea that anybody in the audience can call out anybody else in the audience. They can even call me out and arrange for a week later to have a roast battle. So they have a week to come up with insults. Joking, good insults, not just insult like fuck you and that's it.
Yeah.
No, like a real, comedic insult. And it worked for a month and a half. It worked. And it did well. And then it only died down because the only ones that were doing it were the Americans.
Yeah.
Because there's a large Navy base in Bahrain, and this was next to one of their... this bar was close to where they live, and they would all come out there just to do that.
And they've also got a much longer tradition of the roast.
Yeah, it's very familiar. It did inspire the locals to do it, but the locals were just so... They were very conservative about it. They were very polite at the same time. You know what I mean? And it was okay. But we got Indians that came up there and they did it. And we got people from Bangladesh that got up there and did it. But mainly the Americans were the ones that were doing it the most. And I started the roast to get the first roast I did was staged. I even wrote my insults for my partner to say to me. All right, because he didn't know how to do any jokes at all. So I wrote insults about me, and he got more laughs than I did because there's more to make fun of me than to make fun of this Filipino guy, you know. So, but the thing is, it got the ball rolling, and it went on for 6 weeks, almost 6 weeks, and it was great. And that's what we need to do here. You know, we need
you know
to,
all your dirty secrets, so you can lay them.
yeah, that's why people laugh the hell out of me,
Absolutely.
because, you know, I really put that in there, and I spared no punches with myself. You know, I beat myself up that night, but it was good. It was all for the fun, and it got people to be involved. You know, and that's what you want. You want people to get involved. I love comedy. I love stand-up comedy. But you know what? I just want somebody to say, I want to challenge that fucking prick next week on stage for 3 minutes, because they get 3 minutes. They only get 3 minutes, so they get, you know, they go back and forth for 3 minutes. It doesn't not one side has 1.5, the other one has 1.5. No, it's not a rap battle.
No.
It's just exchange back and forth, and I really think that needs to happen. You know, that could be a Fringe thing as well.
Yeah.
Just a roast battle. Crowd can take on anybody else in the crowd, or the host, or whoever you want.
Yep, that could definitely.
You know, and I think it'll catch on.
I mean, there's a couple of places in the Fringe that actually do roast comedian against comedian, but that kind of open house would be something that,
to get the audience
2027.
involved. To get the audience involved is it can be a good thing, but at the same time, the double-edged sword. It could be a total disaster.
Yeah, no, I mean, it could just turn into abuse. And, kind of.
But the thing is that they'll have to know the rules prior.
Yeah.
You know, they can't just get up and it's not a slugfest of insulting words without any meaning behind it. Otherwise, that's just high school all over again.
And the Scots would win every time.
You guys got the. It's not that you've got the best curse word. That you say the curse words better than anybody else.
Okay.
You know, I that's what I would say. You know, I loved, what's his name, Billy Connolly.
Yep.
Billy Connolly. He's a Scot, right? When I watch him, yeah, he is funny. He is a funny man, but that accent just makes it funnier. I have to admit, it just makes it funnier. I remember there was an 80s show called Head of the Class. Do you remember that show, Head of the Class? Where the main teacher, they changed. I think he left halfway through the series, and he was replaced by Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly, he did play it for a bit. That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I used to love watching Head of the Class just for him. I would imitate him in school. I would try to talk like a Scot in school. And just because he just influenced me so much, and he was just so funny, and it's so hypnotic to look at. And I don't know if that applies to all Scottish people, but I can't get enough of Billy. Billy is just great.
He's a curse, and he's a curse and a joy to anybody who goes up on stage who's got a Scottish accent, because that is now the archetype. You've got to follow it. I mean, there's Frankie Boyle and Kevin Bridges as well, who great comedians, but they're still following in his footsteps,
because he just I think he's like paved the way of how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's an inspiration, especially to his own people as well.
He was a comic genius in the same way that someone like Robbie Williams.
Yeah,
It's kind of
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
He had the physicality as well as
and he's loud. He's so energetic.
Yes.
He sweats on stage. Yeah. You know, when you see him on stage, most comedians have like one glass or one bottle of water. He's got a whole table full of water. And he used one or two bottles as props and spread it all around. But he's always got like so much water because he's just like he's working out on stage. It's like an aerobics class while doing comedy. Yep. I mean, only Robin Williams can do that. You know, I mean, Jim Carrey might come close, but I think Robin Williams is definitely more flamboyant.
But in terms of Scots and swearing, I remember there was one time, lovely woman, saw me a number of times at the Rhine and other places, thought it was pretty good, and asked me if I could come to our house and do a set for a kind of social gathering she was having, but saying, look, it's going to be about 5 o'clock. There are going to be probably young kids around. You're really funny, but could you keep your language down? Could you not swear? And I just basically said, could I not fucking swear? I'm a fucking Scot. How the fuck would I know if I was fucking swearing? I didn't get the gig.
You didn't?
No, I didn't get the gig.
Oh, gee, I wonder what went wrong there.
I don't know. Fuck if I know.
But do you think that swearing is? I mean, I got nothing against people who curse or do not curse. That's not. But my main objective is: are they funny? Whether they curse or they don't curse, are they going to be funny? Like, but do you think that swearing kind of can help in terms of getting laughs or not?
If it's strategically and honestly placed, if it's just there for effect, then no. I mean, a lot of people in Australia last few years have been dropping the C word. The C word.
Well, we're in Australia. The C word. The C word is just as common as hello in Australia,
and in Scotland too. It's interesting because it's one of the affinities the Scots and the Australians have got is using and subverting elements of language. Mm-hmm. So that I mean, to call someone a mad cunt in Scotland or Australia is not an insult. You say it to somebody who's not Scottish or Australian, and they are mortified.
Yeah, of course.
By the fact you've called them that. And Jimmy's a daft cunt. He's all right.
Yeah. Like, can I get you cunt a drink?
Yeah. So I mean, it's an ugly word, and it's used for effect. But it's also in our cultures. It's a term of endearment.
So this is where the white people of Australia differ from the white people in the US. In the US, that they don't say it. They say he called me a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they won't say the word half the time because they're so shocked by it, or you know, they're afraid from it. I don't know what it is, what stronghold it has over the Yanks. But here it's like, hi. How you doing, cunt? You all right? You know, it's like you know, it's like Lebanese people saying, "How you doing, Habib?"
Yeah,
you know, it's just there. How you doing, mate? You know, it's just so out there, and yeah, I think they should somehow implement the "See you next Tuesday" in the new version of the Australian flag. Welcome to Australia, cunts. Well, you know, or something like that. That should be at the airport. Welcome to Australia, cunts.
Well, they had the slogan in the Northern Territory, the tour slogan for a long time: "CUNT."
Yeah.
See you in the NT. So I mean, it's been used.
Yeah. Okay. So they're not shy about it.
No.
Okay, that's pretty. Yeah. Okay.
It has. I mean, for comedic effect, either has to be part of the natural flow of language. So I mean, some comedians, Steve Hughes, I think, is another one, kind of every second word is fuck, and then it just becomes boring. It's
redundant.
metronomic. It just loses its effect. I drop swear words in where I would probably drop them in my language anyway, not necessarily for effect, but I've tried to reduce the amount of swearing that I do, but it's problematic.
Well, but you know, there are many comedians who have succeeded without cursing, and okay, he didn't curse, but he raped 50 women. That's Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
So allegedly raped 50 women plus, but he never cursed in his comedy. And there are others. Oh God, who can I think of right now that didn't curse in their comedy? That's going to be a hard one. But there have been a few. I mean, Jim Carrey doesn't curse. He never said the F word on stage. Not that I recall. Mitch Hedberg, I think he said F maybe the fuck once, maybe just once. Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh yeah,
another one. Never cursed. No, but he would never. No. He would never curse. No. He never said shit, fuck, pussy, things like that. He never said any of those words, right? But these are great examples that you know you can still be dirty without having to say dirty words.
That's what I mean. You know, Dangerfield was dirty, but he wasn't explicit.
No. Yeah. Right. So you know, there are people that can pull that off. Even George Carlin in his early days never cursed. I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show. Several times when he was in black and white, and then later on when it was in color, and he was phenomenal, and he was funny. And you know how explicit he could be.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and even in his early days, beautiful. Eddie Murphy in his early days, beautiful. I mean, Eddie Murphy is all about cursing, but on Johnny Carson, my God, what a set that was!
Like
not one word.
You couldn't get away.
And you couldn't. No, you couldn't. You could say the N word. But you couldn't say the curse word.
No.
You know, in those days on TV.
Yeah.
You know, and Richard Pryor also in his early days, before he came out with that album, That Nigga's Crazy, which is the greatest album of all time. Yes, that's what the album is called. Don't Call Me a Bigot. His first special that he recorded was called That Nigga's Crazy. Find it, download it. You will laugh your ass off. So before you made that decision to be into comedy, growing up, did you have any comedians that you idealized or you enjoyed?
I mean, I grew up at the time when Billy Connolly was beginning to be famous. So
Back to Billy again.
Yeah, back to Billy. So I saw him on stage a few times. Again, Robin Williams. I mean, God, I'm going back to the days when British comedians were people like Ronnie Barker and Ronnie Corbett and Les Dawson and Tommy Cooper.
People that most people today have never heard of.
Never heard of.
And I can tell you because I haven't heard of them myself.
Nah, Tommy Cooper died on stage.
Really?
Literally. He was
While doing a set?
While doing a set.
Wow.
He died on stage. I think he was actually, at one point, he was sitting down and he just...
Wow.
And the audience...
Is there video of that?
I think there is.
I'm going to see if I can find that.
The audience laughed.
What's his name again?
Tommy Cooper.
Tommy Cooper.
Yeah.
See, there's a reason why I have these. You know, I do take notes when I do some of these podcasts.
He wasn't Lebanese, but he wore a fez. Wasn't Egyptian, but he wore a fez, and he did really bad magic tricks.
Ah, okay.
And like all the comedians at that time, he had a catchphrase. His was just like that, just like that. But no, he died on stage. But
what was the cause of death? Just a heart attack or something, or a stroke?
Myocardial infarct.
My God. And nobody noticed that he died?
No, initially. It took a while.
They thought it was part of the act, probably, right?
It took a while for people to realise.
Wow. They probably thought that he was doing an Andy Kaufman bit kind of thing, because Andy Kaufman used to do a lot of pranks on stage, and people thought it was real or didn't know what to think of it. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm taking a wee break.
A wee break.
From stand-up comedy at the moment is because I told you, every single member of my family's died before their 66th birthday.
So do you think that you're going to have the same fate, like die on stage?
I don't know, but I'm 65, so I don't want to...
Well, you know,
don't want to tempt fate.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Drop off.
I think that I feel like my cutoff time is probably going to be 50 because Michael Jackson died at 50. Bernie Mac died at 50. I've been reading about all these celebrities that died at exactly fucking 50, and these people weren't. They didn't look like they had any trouble with their health, except for maybe Michael with his face. But that doesn't mean that he was,
It's like
sick in the inside. But these young, talented people who look very healthy are dropping dead at 50. I don't look anywhere near as good as these people. I'm 46. I think I got myself one more World Cup weight left. I got only 4 years to go.
It's like the rock stars that die at 27.
Look how much drugs they take though.
Yeah, Amy White,
most of them.
Joplin,
they're all drug related.
Morrison,
all drug related. Yeah. You know, I mean, we take drugs because I don't. But many people take drugs because they haven't been able to make it, and the ones that do make it celebrate by taking drugs. That they, I don't know. If you got the money, then you could,
It's like one way or another. Success or failure still leads to the same vices.
I mean, but you had good stars that didn't do drugs. I mean. No, he did. Freddie Mercury did. I'm sure he did a lot of drugs. Okay. I think he did every drug in the book, but he didn't. But he died the worst way. He didn't get. He didn't die the rock and roll way. Anyway, rest in peace, Freddie. We still love you. When you're speaking about Robin Williams, he did have this bit, which was hilarious, about Scottish people. How his interpretation of how the invention of golf started. You know that bit I'm talking. That was incredible. All right, that was so funny. I'm not gonna even try to imitate him, but every time he just says "fuck no," we'll put the whole miles away.
And then you hit it, and then you have to walk after, and then you hit it again.
And then is that the end of the game?
Fuck no! Not straight. I put shit in the way. Like trees and bushes and high grass, so you can lose your fucking ball and go whacking away with a fucking tire iron.
I'm gonna do it one more time.
That was 17 times, right?
And you do this one time. Fuck no! 18 fucking times!
That bit was, I think that was probably his most genius bit. I mean, he'd done so many great things, but did you know that Robin Williams has a history? He didn't steal jokes. He bought them. He would buy jokes. If he heard something funny from one comedian, he wouldn't steal it like other comedians may have. He said, I like that joke. I want to give you money for it because I want it to be mine and I want to use it. And he would take that joke and he would go further with it. But he didn't always come up with the premise.
No.
You know, but he was famous for that apparently.
I heard stories that I hadn't heard the fact that he paid for them. I just
No, he paid. Damon
that he
Wayans
eliminated the jokes from other people.
Damon Wayans clarified that.
Well, you get big enough, you get joke writers for you anyway.
You do.
So
I mean, Eddie Murphy didn't write all of Raw or Delirious. One of the writers was Keenan Ivory Wayans, one of the Wayans brothers. But again, Eddie Murphy just made it his own. He just does his own thing with it. Now, during your 7 years?
Yeah, 7
years of stand-up. Have you ever had a night where you got booed off the stage? Did you ever have a night where you didn't go too well?
Oh, I've never been booed off the stage.
I don't think that happens anymore. Anyway, did you ever have a?
I've never had that. I've never had an audience that interested in me when I've done badly to boo me off the stage.
Okay.
I have had nights where it hasn't gone as I would have wanted to, and I've died for a certain degree. I remember one time at the Rhino, things just weren't landing at the very end of the set. I'd done the traditional thing, put the mic off to the side. I went to get the mic back, and as Michael Bowley, who was MCing at the time, said, I've never seen a T-Rex finish an act because my hand was missing. I but then bounced back, did the next time and went well. So I mean, it's.
Do you recall a set that you are the most proud of that where you would think would be the most successful one you've ever had?
One of my there's two of them. One was I remember opening for the Borderers at the top of the Arc, which was filled, and that went well, and it was really good. But it was an audience that was anticipating a Scotsman, and I was wearing my kilt, and I did a very good set there. But the other set that I remember more recently is I was lucky enough to be one of the people doing the last night of the Cranker.
Is the Cranker still going on, by the way?
Not Cranker. Cranker is at least on hiatus. When the Cranker closed down, Cranker Comedy, the famous comedy club in Adelaide, performed at the Crown and Anchor in Grenfell Street, and that building's been redeveloped for student accommodation. And they're going to retain the pub at the end, but at the moment it's closed down. Great music venue. They've moved to another kind of pop-up venue elsewhere in Adelaide.
Okay.
But for the music scene, but Ross Voss, the guy who ran the comedy scene, hasn't taken that with him.
Okay.
So this was about after, I think they'd had something like 14 years of doing every second Tuesday, sometimes every Tuesday at the Rhino, and this was the last night of the Rhino, and he kind of hand-curated and picked a bunch of 7 or 8, maybe 12 comedians.
Please continue with the second performance that you said that you did well. That was at the...
The second one's at the Rhino.
At the Rhino.
Not at the Rhino. The second one's at the Cranker.
At the Cranker, that's right, yeah.
Which, and that, I mean, it was one of my sets where I was actually dressed in costume, which I do occasionally. It's a bit of a gimmick, but it's also interesting. And that, I just slayed, absolutely killed. And I remember, Ken Michael?
Yes, the Canadian, Mr. Canada.
I think you've done a podcast on recently as well. He was there and he just said, Stuart, you slayed that room. That was brilliant. I mean, it was a hard room not to play well in because it was absolutely full to the brim. They were turning people away, and it was a celebration, a party. But I performed it, hit every note. Did everything I wanted to. I felt really good about it.
I've seen your comedy. I even recorded one. And I noticed that with some of your jokes, I think it goes over the head of a lot of the audience that's there. I don't think they get half the stuff that you say. Like, I'm not to say that you're not funny. I'm just saying that I don't think they get some of it. All right, I don't want to insult the audience, but sometimes your jokes can be a little bit too sophisticated or too intelligent for them. Is that wrong to say? You know, I mean, I'm not saying that the audience can be stupid, but considering your age from your generation, it doesn't exactly link up to the younger generation, so they don't know what you are referencing
to make it not so old, but the others mean I get.
You know what I'm saying, right?
I get two common criticisms.
Yeah. Okay.
As a comedian.
All right.
One, you got too many stupid dad jokes. Right?
Oh, dad jokes.
They're too dumb.
Okay.
They're too dumb. They're just too stupid. And the other one is your writing's really, really good. Your jokes are really clever and witty, but they're too clever.
So it goes over their head.
So they go over their head. I mean, there's a joke, for example, I do about. It's a sequence of jokes. It's partly a callback, but I do one about Musk, and I simply say, Musk, who'd have thought that the sexual juices from a beaver could end up that rank? Mm-hmm. And Ken Michael, he told me that I heard that about half a dozen times before I realised it wasn't about Canadians because it said beaver.
Yeah.
So I often play with language in a way that is funny on the page, and I'm a writer first and a performer second, probably. So, and it's the kind of humour that I find funny. So you got to do, you always start off doing stand-up for an audience of one, and that's the guy that you're performing to in the mirror.
Okay.
And you have to make yourself.
Yes, of course. I do that. I do that.
Your own material. And that's possibly why I'm moving into a kind of more extended form that's a little bit more like a dramatic monologue rather than a tight 5 because I had a whole 5 minutes on the etymology of the word bastard.
Okay.
And I must have used the word bastard in that set about 200 times. And I thought it was hilarious. But it actually, if I think about it, it comes over like a TED Talk. But it's might work as a sketch on TV, but it probably doesn't come over that brilliantly as a piece of type 5 stand-up comedy. So
when you write your set, do you write it like in the form of a script, word for word type of thing, and then you rehearse it and you go over it over and over again, like you do in front of the mirror?
I've done it. No, I mean, I say it in front of the mirror. I did that initially. I haven't done that for a long, long time.
Okay.
Apart from anything else.
Upstairs, I have a pretend mic. I have a mic as a prop.
Yeah.
And I look at myself in the mirror and I tell the jokes as if I'm talking to an audience, just to like as a rehearsal over and over and over again until I get it like cold.
Yeah. I mean, my stuff is fairly tightly scripted. It's got room for manoeuvre and change within it. I initially wrote my stuff almost as free verse, right? So it wasn't even as a kind of dialogue. It was like a kind of strange form of poetry. And Russell Hartop commented on that once. He said, I love watching your stuff, Stuart. I love it. I mean, I just know the rhythm's going to be there. It's going to be da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was doing that. So it was almost like I was doing free verse as comedy, which was an interesting strategy, not necessarily the most successful.
Okay.
Now I do. I use I'll write out a script in full, but then I'll use the shopping list of 5 or 6 keywords that you've got to hit,
like a guideline type of thing.
The
Yeah.
set list,
Yeah.
and that's what I'll use. Some sets are more tightly scripted than others, but there are some. I'm what one of the comedians, Jackson Grants, wouldn't like, because I do think there's a narrative, there's a story arc to be shown, and I begin in the middle and the end, and I kind of throughput to get to the end. So it's kind of probably too analytical, but
Okay.
I mean, I was a former academic. I used to be a university lecturer.
Oh wow!
Sciences, so I've kind of got a kind of.
So you got a rapport with the students / audience type thing.
Yeah, well, they couldn't understand my accent either.
Okay, but the thing is, you knew how to deal with the crowd.
Yeah, I'm in a bad way because I started off with them needing subtitles to begin with, and then I put in big words, so big words in a Scottish accent. not the the brightest of ideas.
Okay. No, but okay. That's interesting. Now, if you can do your comedy set for any audience in history, which time period would you choose?
Emperor Nero.
How long ago was that? Are we talking BC here?
We're talking Roman times. Because, I mean, then at least, if you died, you would fucking die.
They used to. That kind of reminds me of that scene from the music video of Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, where Eddie Murphy plays the king, and his wife says, "I want to be entertained," and then all these performers comes, and she's not happy, and then they kill them, behead them or burn them or whatever. So yeah, okay.
Or like Henry VIII, if the jester did something that he didn't like, he'd be hung, drawn, and quartered. So.
Fucking hell. That's a tough audience.
That's a tough gig.
That's a very tough gig. I thought my World War II speech, my World War II after Hitler's speech was going to be tough, but that is a lot tougher. Okay. If you could swap lives with your favorite comedian for a week, who's that comedian? Dead or alive, doesn't matter.
That is a hard one. Because, I'm Marty Feldman.
Okay.
Marty Feldman, who was a British comedian, bug-eyed, very odd bloke. He was just eccentric and mad. Or possibly someone like Spike Milligan, who, again, eccentric, mad, used language exquisitely.
Flanagan?
Pardon?
Flanagan?
Spike Milligan.
Milligan, sorry.
He was one of, really hard going back in time, he was one of the goons. Or, I just yesterday I saw a documentary on John Clark, Kiwi comedian who did a lot of TV work in Australia. He did the television show called The Games, Clark and Daw, political commentary. I'd be him, because he was just himself, always, on and off screen, and just very witty and twinkle in his eye.
Okay. All right, Stu, finish the following sentence. Comedy is...
Catharsis.
I like original answers, catharsis. So when anybody gives me another kick-ass answer, I can refer to Wee Stu's answer.
I mean, some people would simplify that and say comedy is therapy. I mean, a lot of my sets are pretty dark and pretty personal in the sense that I've got a set about. I've told you, all my family died before they're 66.
Wow.
They all died in the month of September too.
Oh God.
I've been doing a set every September. Not this year because I felt in a better place. About their deaths. And we've got suicides, we've got Parkinson's, we've got alcoholism.
My God.
All that in one set. And I love that. And another set I do is about my mother. And she was raised stateless in Nazi Germany. So it's about, she was diagnosed with PTSD. Post-traumatic Scottish disorder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do a set.
Yeah, I heard you do that one. Yeah, that's
around
good.
that, and it's incredibly cathartic and releasing for me. So I've probably caused more trauma than I've caused.
Oh wow!
With some of my sets.
Really, September?
September.
So you, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you must be. I'm just going to take a wild guess here, or I'm going to make the assumption that you would love the song by the Temptations, or you can relate to the song by the Temptations, Papa was a Rolling Stone, because the first line to that song was, "It was the 3rd of September, a day that I will always remember, because that was the day that my daddy died." And like, wow! And when you just said that, it just that song is flooding back. Now I'm wanting to start singing the Temptations.
It's weird because all my family have died in a 6-day period on different days between the 7th and the 12th of September. Literally, there's one day left with my name on it.
Wow!
So I mean, that before I did comedy, that was September. That period, I used to get bottles of whiskey, more or less, hide under the doona, and just get myself bluttered as we'd say in Scotland, seek oblivion.
Wow.
But comedy allowed me to get up and put that on stage, still talking through me and my voice, different aspects of my voice, but allowed me to get that out of my system. And again with my mother, estranged for her for many years, but she made me go to school in Scotland.
Yeah.
At primary school, the age of 7, in lederhosen, in fucking Scotland in the snow, right? And that's a childhood trauma I've dealt with in the background and just tried to ignore it. But now I've actually got a set where I expressly talk about her background and what that meant to me and putting me through that and try and get humour out of that. And it's very dark. I mean, it goes into fascism, it goes into all sorts of dark corners, but it shocks people, and there's one particular point where I get very dark and everybody just goes, and then I bring the laugh line out, and the release of tension when that works is brilliant. So for me, it's catharsis. There's been a lot of my inner shibboleths come out.
Well, I'd like to make a recommendation. If you ever have an intro music to your next gig, I highly recommend The Temptations' Papa with the Rolling Stone.
September, the gig again.
Yeah, because I think you can relate to that, and I'm sure your Papa was a Rolling Stone too. Okay, well, we're going to enter what I like to call the existential part of the show. I
think we already have.
No, we have. Well, now I want to dive deeper into it. Do you think comedy is a way of avoiding the big question, or is it in a way kind of answering them when you're on stage?
I think I've just answered that. For me, it's a way of at least addressing the big questions.
Yeah.
It's a way of, it's a way of addressing them and bringing to light some issues that might not otherwise be raised, and allowing, if you can laugh at trauma and adversity, then you're halfway through to conquering it. And similarly with other big ideas. I mean, kind of sexism, misogyny, racism, political ideas. If you can bring them to light on the stage, then and make people laugh at them, they also have to think about them. They can't just laugh. And I don't believe in punching down with comedy. I think comedy can. It's very kind of woke, but I think comedy is a way of elevating those issues.
No doubt. I totally agree. So I guess I really know this. Considering taking the nature of this conversation that we've been having, there's no need for me to ask you this following question, because I think you've already answered it. Is comedy about connecting with people or escaping from them? And I think you are definitely connecting.
Trying to.
But that's your goal.
Trying to. It's also
to connect.
As you said, I'm a boomer, and the audience for comedy is millennials and under.
God, that must be so tough.
So I've got to try and bridge that gap, and there's a cultural gap too, because yes, I'm an immigrant, but my founding circumstances are back in the UK, which are different, vastly different from here. So a lot of my cultural underpinnings are different, and I try not to be an old fuddy-duddy boomer. I don't think in any way that I am.
You can't fight it. You cannot fight it.
There is an age difference. I mean, I try and address that. I do one set about being a woke boomer and how totally boomers misconstrue the ideas. But there is a dissonance that you have to break through initially.
All right. So you are definitely more of yourself than less yourself when you're on stage, correct?
I think so.
Because you're playing different parts of characters of yourself.
It's in many ways it'd be an exaggerated version of myself, but it's not. I don't leave much of myself behind when I get on stage. It's me.
Yeah.
It's me, and it's me bringing out sometimes quite deeply personal
Okay.
bits of me.
Which historical figure do you think would make a good comedian?
Does it have to be a real one?
I think so.
Fictionally, I think I'd love to see Quasimodo on stage.
Okay. But no, if you had to choose an actual person.
All right. Christ. I'll get the king wrong. There was an English king, and one of the Edwards, who was very much a hunchback, short and deformed, much despised. I think he'd make a good comedian because there's now much more largesse and liberty to use disability as a framework for comedy. I think that he and because he had the power of the power of the throne behind him, you would be fucked if you didn't laugh.
Okay.
So there would be a certain degree of obligation to do that. So I would take a disfigured figure from history, bring them back to try and maybe a short arse like Napoleon.
Okay,
With his missing arm, maybe he would be somebody to.
I think he had a lot of anger issues. I think he would have vented nicely on stage. It's funny how you mentioned the handicap part, because I remember there was a set that Dave Chappelle did where he was notoriously famous and notoriously called out for making transgender jokes. Yeah, and he said, in this special, I'm not going to make fun of transgenders. From now on, I'm only going to make fun of the handicapped. All right? And then he started making fun of the handicapped and goes, and all the handicapped people are here hoping that I was going to make fun of the transgenders. Screw the shit, I'm out of here. Then he does this awkward walk, and it was a phenomenal moment in comedy. But he went back on his word. He made fun of transgender. He continued. He
would have to.
He can't let go of that bone.
No, as soon as you say I'm not going to do this, it means
you're going to do it even more.
You've telegraphed.
I won't say it. I was going to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I'm holding my back to say it. Israel always said they're not going to do anything, but they do it all the time. Okay, that's it.
We're at peace now. We'll just drop a few bombs.
I just saw a quote from Netanyahu, "We don't kill people." That was his quote. And that's all I've got to say. I don't want to get political, but...
It's Hitler didn't kill people. Hitler didn't exterminate.
No. And rapists don't rape, and murderers don't murder anymore. We're living in the upside down.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we have reached the conclusion of our podcast, where I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions. Have you heard of James Lipton? It's okay if you haven't.
Did he invent tea?
No, that's a good one. I never even thought about that. James Lipton was an American writer/actor. He wasn't in big movies. He was just a theatrical actor, and who had his own show called Inside the Actor's Studio.
Okay.
All right, where he interviewed some of the most famous, if not all of them. He even interviewed Chappelle.
Yeah.
And in return, Chappelle interviewed him in the same fashion.
I don't know, but the Actor's Studio drew influence from somebody that I'm reading at the moment. I think Stanislavski. The guy, the creator of method acting.
Yes.
I've been my mentor and director for my show has got me reading Stanislavski, so that's.
But I've read some of Stanislavski. We read about Stanislavski in drama class. Yeah. I mean that was something to learn from.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Now he conducted this questionnaire for that. He was inspired by a French journalist named Bernard Pivot. Anyway, so let's get started with the first question out of 10. WeeStu, what is your favorite word?
Numpty.
Numpty?
Numpty.
Numpty.
It's a Scottish word meaning a very stupid or annoying person. You fucking numpty.
You're not talking about me right about now, I hope not.
N-U-M-P-T-Y.
Okay.
Numpty.
Numpty Dumpty. Okay. What is your least favorite word?
No. I mean, that's probably a fairly common response, but no. Just shutting off, closing discussion. Mm-hmm. Just, no.
What turns you on?
If it was Rob Newman, I'd be able to say my pacemaker. Unexpected pleasant surprises.
Nice. What turns you off?
Intolerance. Absolutely. I mean, like I say, I'm the child of, I'm basically the child of a refugee. I mean, my mother was raised stateless in Nazi Germany. Fuck the fascists and the right wing and the people who are intolerant of other people simply because of their origins. They can just go sit on that.
And it's been 70 years and we're still in the same spot.
Ah, Christ. I mean, the mirror images. I mean, I was asked to do a spoken word piece for a Palestinian fundraising group, and that was a serious, though not a Jew, and that was a serious 5-minute spoken word piece, which related to my mum's experience in the current one. Intolerance, yes, no.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one. Okay, what is your favorite curse word?
No, I mean, if I wanted to be conventional, I'd drop the C word.
Okay.
And I think bastard is also good because it's a word. Both of them, like we've discussed, are words that can be confrontational and so offensive to so much of the English-speaking diaspora. But in Scotland and Australia, in particular, both of them have been circumvented. Bastard has actually been bastardized into a bastardized form, which is actually a friendly form.
Okay.
So it's taken. And to some extent, that's a revolt against the domination of the English language.
Okay.
That's one group of people I often don't look fondly on.
Okay. No,
we still have prejudices.
Mike Myers did a sketch on SNL where he plays a Scotsman. He owns a store, goes, welcome to the store. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Right? And he keeps having fights with his family members. And then when they mention something like their mother, oh, you bastard, I love you. It always ends like that, you know. They eating each other's heads off and they show affection later on.
I mean, I've got two aspects of branding for myself. One is WeeStu, which works out very effectively. And the other is a massive collection of T-shirts, which can be distracting. But I've got ones that say, I'm not yelling, this is just my Scottish voice.
Okay, yeah. What sound or noise do you love?
Laughter.
What sound or noise do you hate?
The sound of running water. Particularly ornamental garden fountains that have running water. My wife would love to have one. My partner rather would love to have one. I find them, they don't relax me. They make me feel aggressive. You don't want an aggressive Scotsman.
Okay. Noted. I'll make a note of that. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I kind of almost haven't previously, but I'd like to be a professional brewer.
That's very Scottish of you. Or it's also very Irish of you.
Actually, when I first started going to university, I applied for 5 different universities in Scotland, and one of them, the 5th one, and I was applying basically for biology degrees. The last one was a Master of Brewing at Heriot University. I got accepted for it, but I went to Edinburgh instead, Edinburgh. But 2007, for a few years, I've been brewing my own all-grain homebrew, right from scratch. I mean, I hand ground the grain. I made the porridge. I boiled it in an old Cooper's keg. 2007, I won one of the Australian Championships, the Australian National Amateur Wine and Beer Show, with a Crystal Rye Stout. Got offers to go and be a professional brewer in Stradbroke Island.
So you have pursued this. You have pursued
only as an amateur, not as a career.
Okay.
But my doctor told me at that time that I was drinking so heavily that I had to stop or I'd have a stroke within 3 years. The doctor died within 2 years, so I started drinking again. But I don't brew anymore. Because,
okay.
I mean, it used to be that Australia was a desert. You could get 3 or 4 types of fairly bad beer.
Okay.
Cooper's was about the only. I mean, West End Draft, VB, Foster's, ubiquitous pretend pilsners that were just cat's piss. So if I wanted to brew a decent drink, I made it myself.
All right, sweet.
So that's what I would do if I was to go back to a career.
Good. Beer. Short answer, beer. Okay. What profession would you not like to do? Clean up after drunks.
I mean, again, it's a job that I've done, but I wouldn't do it again. Is be a university academic because the neoliberals have changed the function of the university to such an extent and depleted resources. It's a hell of a place.
Okay.
to work now.
And finally, WeeStu, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gate?
What are you drinking?
That's such a Scottish answer, or that's such a WeeStu answer.
That's probably a Wee Stu answer.
That's an answer and a half. Having a drink with the man.
And I'd probably say a wee heavy, please.
Oh, I love it.
A wee heavy is a strong Scottish ale.
I have to say to you, so far, that is the most original answer I've heard to that question on this show so far. That's definitely, and now definitely my favorite one so far. What are you drinking? See, I smoke shisha, so I'm going to be like, your shisha's waiting for you, come. And it's like, oh, sweet, Nice. That was great. Well, there you have it. All right. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Magic Hour. Please be sure to catch Wee Stu special on the Fringe in March called Wee Stu's Stunted Growth. That's right. It's right up there. I put the picture with the correct spelling.
With the correct,
I put stunted growth instead of stunted growth, so I had to.
Stunted.
No, it's stunted. It's stunted. So
stunted is what I am after I've had too many wee heavies. I get stunted. But Stunted is the name of the show.
That's right. So be sure to check it out in March with all the details. I have been your host, MagicLeb, a.k.a. MagicLeb. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and subscribe to my YouTube channel at MagicLeb. And please follow Wee Stu right there. And until next time, people, you take care.